You both might have a different viewpoint. Our job is going to be to bring you both in a way together to make the best investment decisions.
Sometimes the time is right when the time is right. He is somebody I met in 2017. He always wanted to start with an investment in the Dubai market. And 2024 is what it was for him. He, along with another friend of his, wanted to really take a look at the Dubai market again and really start investing. So what we ended up doing is have them sign up on the Dubai Wealth Builder program. And it's a little bit of a challenge trying to get two friends who might think alike, can also think differently sometimes. Him and both of his friends were then escorted along into a strategy session. We then went on to help them virtually select properties, qualify based on the criteria that we established. One of them then visited Dubai. We went physically to see the properties, the different showrooms, and get a feel of the areas and the locations so that we could then make better decisions. The process took about maybe a month to 2 months, but the good thing is they win by getting the best property. Dubai wins by getting a great customer, great client. We win because we get to service them, and the real estate market in Dubai wins overall.
Here. Yes, now I can. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're live. Thank you very much for joining in. We're going to be talking about real estate, life in general. Any questions that you might have that I might be able to elucidate, explain, share my experience, my information with you. I wouldn't say anything, nothing's off topic, but let's try to stick around real estate, perhaps business, perhaps life. Look, some of the things that I'd love to actually share with you guys today is to share with you the experiences in Dubai real estate that generally people have. Some of you might know this, might not know this, but I gotta tell you, when you join the real estate industry, I'm reflecting on one of the comments that I had from somebody recently. Hey Tamanna, hello. I can't hear myself, guys. Tamanna Siddiqui, hello. Sarah, Sinead, Queen Besso, Sanjeev, Bushin, Abhishek, Suhail. Welcome, guys. Welcome for joining in. How's the voice? Can you guys hear the voice? Can you guys hear me? All right, thank you. How are you guys? So, okay, guys, listen. So, if you guys have questions on real estate, whether on YouTube or Dubai on YouTube, I'm happy to answer. Welcome. Yes, you can hear me. So that's amazing. You can hear me. Sanjeev, thank you. Chakraborty, thank you. Are you guys excited to learn about Dubai real estate? Give me a little bit of your background. Tell me a little bit about yourself. So I know who I'm talking to, and I know my audience, my friends, my fans, the people who are tuned in. So yes, it's a wonderful Saturday morning. So the people who've tuned in, tell me a little bit about yourself. Are you an investor, real estate agent? Just curious about Dubai real estate. Just follow my channel for regular stuff. So I'd love to know a little bit about you, and if Dubai real estate is the thing you want to learn more about. So I can actually then, kind of like customize my stuff for you. All right, Sanjeev's based out of Gurgaon, NCR. Hey, nice to meet you. Lovely. I hear it's a very good city, very industrialized, right? Very nice. Thank you very much for looking into Dubai. Dubai is also a very nice place if you're looking to really invest. Mubarak Collection, hi, how are you? Broker Dilya, hi, how are you? Just want to know what you guys are from, where you guys are tuning in from, so that I get a little bit of a background on who's watching, who's here, even if you're on YouTube as well. Abhishek asks, is JVT a good option to start my investment by? Yes, I can tell you it's good. Mubarak Collection, hi, hello. So I would say yes. With some conditions or with some background information. I'll tell you why. I'm not going to tell you. Look, I can compare, analyze each location on its own merits, and each location has either 10, most of the time they'll have 10 pros, amazing things, and 10 disadvantages as well. For example, without naming any place, if there's any place that's very, very famous for a lot of tourists to come into, any place, I don't want to name any place in Dubai, but you get the idea, you understand. If there's any place that's famous for a lot of tourists to come into, to enjoy Eid days, New Year's Eve, or other attractions, that's amazing for Airbnb. Or if you wanted to invest, correct? Say yes, because you should agree to this. But guess what? On New Year's Eve, or during the Eid days, or the public holidays, or generally weekends, guess what? These places get ample busy, which leads to sometimes some traffic jams, right? So I can do pros and cons on a lot of places. So JVT will have a lot of pros, lots of advantages. What you would like to do, what I'd suggest always, is you've got to look at your view to selling, your view to liquidating, your view to using it. And I'll tell you rather a real story about one of our clients recently who ended up buying and purchasing an amazing property over there in JVT. But the reason he ended up buying there was because, like, good guys, look, at the end of the day, like, for instance, if I said to you, JVT is JVT, it's amazing, it's right opposite JVC, and you said, I like it, I like JVC, and I told you, like, look, JVC can get you good rent, it can get you good capital appreciation, and perhaps a lot more liquidity as well, because a lot of people are looking at JVC, right? But then if you drive down there and you just don't feel the place is right for you, what ends up happening is you're going to, at that stage, start considering maybe JVT works for you. So for this particular buyer, JVT just ended up working better because they liked the easier, nicer layout, the less congestion. And look, JVC is going to become the same, but they liked it, the less congestion today, because it has most of the plots of land already built upon, which leads to less congestion, which leads to less under construction buildings, which leads to more things looking nicer, right? So if you're saying, hey, should I look at JVT? Yes, absolutely. Then do some comparisons. Look at JVC as well, look at Dubai Sports City as well, and look at Arjan as well. The important thing for you would be to look at these places and then either qualify them or absolutely disqualify them. Hey, thank you very much for tuning in. People on YouTube as well, thank you for watching. I see a lot of people on YouTube. I'd love to engage you, talk to you, understand where you're coming from. So tell me which country you're from, right? I've got some people telling me they're from India. Some people are probably from Dubai. I'd love to hear from you guys on YouTube as well, because today is about real estate, life, and business, okay? And I'd love to hear a little bit about you, so that I can actually tailor and help you in a customized way. Straight Path, Sanjeev Leo, I see your question. I'm coming back to your question. Just give me one moment. I see a question from Straight Path. Oh my God, Straight Path, where are you? I've answered this question for you. Okay, no, sorry. My mistake. Salam alaikum, brother. Your question is different. Salam. Do apartments and townhouses in the same area picked on similar AD per square foot basis? I'm asking this because the service charges per square foot are higher in apartments and land by other apartments. Let me understand this again. Please explain. See, this is the thing. I need you guys. Look, there's a telephone number here. You can WhatsApp that number. We can take you on a phone call. Okay, we can take you on a phone call. Same thing applies to Sanjeev Leo. We can answer your questions live. You might have a better idea if I was talking to you face to face on the phone. Okay, so there's a number there. WhatsApp that number and we can actually start talking. But let me try to understand Straight Path's question here. Salam. Do apartments and townhouses in the same area priced on similar ADs? Okay, so then you're saying basically apartments and townhouses in the same. I'm asking this because the service charges per square foot are higher in apartments and land by other apartments. Land shares by apartments, I mean. I really don't understand your question, Straight Path, you see. But what I do know, and what I think you know as well as an investor and as somebody who's been in the market for a while, because I see you regularly, you're the regulars. What I've noticed, if you forgive me for drinking some tea, in the FD Global Properties branded mug. Thank you very much, guys. What I've noticed, what you guys are doing, what if you're asking about apartments have higher service charges, yes, apartments have higher service charges. Yeah, that's the basic answer. I don't understand the second part of the question. I'm asking because it's a little technical. Maybe we need to talk. Sanjeev asks a wonderful question. Sanjeev Leo, looking for decently priced property for my son. Presently, he is in the UK. His plan is to use this property around 4 years from now. Oh wow! Also, my concern is the property is leasehold or freehold. Okay, so let's answer your first concern first. Okay, first of all, Dubai property majorly 99% is freehold in the designated freehold areas. Okay, so there's about 40 plus, 50 plus. We've lost count. We're not keeping count now. Okay. In the earlier days, there were specific. Earlier days, I mean 22 years ago, there were specific areas which were freehold, and everybody knew about them. Now there's so many areas which are freehold, but they're designated as freehold. You just need to ask the person who's selling the property there, or the broker who's helping you purchase a property there. Okay. Number one. Number two, there still are some leasehold areas, so you have to still distinguish and question it before you start your purchase decision. The commonly popular leasehold areas used to be Dubai Silicon Oasis, but a lot of it is now not leasehold. It's freehold somewhat. Dubai Investments Park. Then there was some industrial and office and commercial areas. And then there was specific one-off buildings in different areas of Dubai, right? If I name them, mention them, you won't know them, so there's no point in me mentioning them. Now, what happens is when you're coming in, make sure you ask, is this freehold or not? Freehold means you can own the land and the apartment built on it in perpetuity, whereas leasehold has an expiration date. Then you were asking me, his plan is to buy and use this property around 4 years from now. If you mean that he will be using the property after 4 years, then look, you can perfectly pick up something that is off plan, which means under construction. If you're really set on buying something that's ready, then you can even buy something that's ready, and in the meantime, for 4 years, or let's say 3.5, 4 years, you can start generating rental income on it. The difference and the advantage of off plan would be that you'd be able to pay in installments, get a brand new apartment in 4 years when you want to actually live in it. And if there's been potential appreciation in the apartment, then, if you want to sell it, you can actually make some profit. If there is no profit, if you're not selling it, then, you're not getting any profit out of it. But hopefully you've got, other things to do with your money instead of putting it all in an apartment that you're only going to use after 4 years. Okay, that's number one. Looking for decently priced property for my son. Presently, he is in the UK. See, guys, how much is the rentals? So Sanjay, I've got to tell you, when you say decently priced, I have no idea what decently priced for you will mean. So I would have to go into the area of average affordable for you, right? So when you're looking for decently priced, you are going to avoid the prime locations such as downtown, such as Dubai Marina, such as Palm Jumeirah. But I've got to tell you, a lot of people come into Dubai thinking they want it decently priced, but then they end up not liking the area where the decently priced properties are, and then they end up moving into more prime-ish areas. Sometimes they stick to decently priced, and sometimes they go even further down. So when you're looking for decently priced, look for areas which are non-prime, okay? Which is not downtown, not Business Bay. But doesn't mean that you shouldn't. You could still look at it. And if you want somebody to help you, look, we have a service. There is a mobile number here somewhere. You can actually get in touch with us, fill up a small, really... actually, I want to draw a competitive based on by... You want to draw a comparison, perhaps, competitive based on by capital cost. Yeah, that's fine. Get in touch with our team. We do take on clients, limited clients per month. But if there's slots open, you can pay, get on board. We can start working together. Anyways, when you start working with us, your fees that you pay to start with us are refunded anyways. You'll be working with one of my top advisors. They've got 4 or 5 years, 10 plus years of experience in the market. They'll be able to help you, okay? Yeah, there you go. You can actually explore the website, or you can fill up a short form. There's a link somewhere here. What's your opinion on buying ready-to-move-in property and put it on Airbnb versus buying off-plan property and gaining equity on the property? Well, what do you mean by you could gain equity on the property? How are you going to gain equity on the property if you're buying off-plan? You're gaining capital appreciation. What do you mean by equity? Number one. So you could re-explain that, Chakraborty Abhishek. But what's your opinion on buying ready-to-move-in property and putting it on? Look, let's say if I was deploying like $10 million right now, I would split it up. I might purchase some ready to occupy, appreciation from off-land. So we just call it capital appreciation. Perhaps the correct term is what you've used, gaining equity on the property. I'm not familiar with it, but we generally choose capital appreciation. Yeah, I would do that, right? So if I had $10 million, I would split it up and I would go a little bit ready and a little bit off-plan. I would say, I would even do 40% ready, 60% off-plan. But then you've got to remember, like, I know which off-plans I'm going to be buying. I know the value propositions of the developer, their credibility. I know that the money is going to be safe, they're escrow compliant, so on and so forth. So I would even split it up 40%, 60%. If I was co-investing, let's say it was somebody from my family co-investing with me, I would change it a little bit. Okay, so I would say 40% ready, 60% off plan. If I was investing $10 million today, right? But if I had some family member with me and I wanted to lower the risk for them, I would go 60 ready and 40 off plan, or 70 ready and 30% off plan. I don't want to expose others to the same amount of risk that I'm willing to take, because my brain works differently, because my information on the ground is a little different, right? So that said, now let's boil this down. Let's say if you don't have $10 million and you only have $1 million or $500,000, so you can only buy one property, then other factors also kick in. Like, how old are you, right? If you're like in your early 30s, late 30s, early 40s, late 40s, and you've got some money, if the off-land market doesn't follow the same path of prices going up and up and up, and it stabilizes, and even if it stagnates, and you're like, okay, I took a good punt. If it didn't work out, so what? And let's even assuming, okay, that the developer's late by 2 years to delivery. So you're losing out on 2 years of rent. You're like, okay, big deal. Like, to be honest with you, a lot of people get so, like, when you're doing real estate, a lot of people get so in line, like so in tune with looking at things like, hey, I've lost 2 years worth of rent. Listen, you've lost nothing. In reality, full-time terms. Why? Because what you're going to make in the long term is what you're going to make in the long term. This is real estate. It's a long-term investment. Like, you can't, it's kind of like almost saying, like, you know how children go to school? This is a good example. I want the team to also hear this. You know how children go to school and parents are so dead set to send their kids to school early? Because the earlier he goes to school, earlier he or she will go to high school, and earlier go to university, and earlier that person will end up into the working force, and they'll start making money earlier. It's not going to make any difference. Sometimes, in fact, in Finland, they actually send the kid to school later. The kids don't go to school, I think, if I remember, until 7 years of age, because they're letting the kid develop in a nurturing, loving environment. And who's to say that you trying to push your child into school at an earlier age isn't doing them a disservice by pitting them up with kids who are older than them? That affects their confidence, and that confidence is going to affect them for their life. But if you take a long-term view on your children, I don't know, I'm giving parenting advice here, but if you take a long-term view on your children and say, look, you know what, it's okay. They're going to go to school, they go to high school, they go to university. I'm going to let them choose their career. If they want a year off from university so that they can come back to university and be more dedicated, sure, no problem, right? If you think, no, I need to go back into the workforce because I'll be able to make more money, we've not seen that happen. If that was the case, just look around you. Look at all the kids that were in school with you from an early age, were even doing well, but perhaps are not doing that well today. Not everybody who goes to Harvard is a billionaire, is it? But it should be. It should be the case. And then parents would say, no, but we're still giving them the best option. Yeah, okay, I'll get it. So you want to get your property earlier on. You want to put it in the market earlier on. Look, it's going to even out. Why? Because property is a long-term investment. So people have to, I have to as well, with my clients, start telling them, like, stop thinking short-term. Stop thinking short-term. If you think short-term, you're going to feel pain. You're going to open yourself with pain. So you should be thinking long-term. If you're thinking long-term and you're thinking 10 years, 20 years plus, buying off plan is perfectly fine. Let's say that developer is going to deliver in about 3 years. Even if the developer is late by a year, you've not lost anything. Okay. If anything, perhaps you would have, let's say, I'll give you a real example. Okay. Perhaps the year that the developer was supposed to deliver, the market is soft. And if you had taken delivery of that property, perhaps you had to go to the bank for the balance 50, 60, 30%, or perhaps you had to put money in from your own pocket. But let's say the developer delayed by 2 years or 1 year. And now what's happened is suddenly you've got a situation where you've got somebody looking to purchase in 2 years' time because the market's gone up. So you can actually exit at a profit. Okay. A. Ahsan Abdullah. Good question. Let me see the question. Okay, Bismillah. Salam Fahd Bhai. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Taking your $10 million example forward, are you able to elaborate which areas and types of properties you'd suggest for ready properties and off plan? That's a good question. Great question. So if I was to elaborate on the $10 million, even in the asset class, so let's start with asset class, then go to areas. Even with the asset class, I would break it up. I would not fully put all my money into the asset, not the asset class, sorry. Let's say type of residential. So even in the residential, I would not put it all into townhouses or villas. I would split it up between townhouses and apartments. Okay. Now, furthermore, I would again look at a little bit of when I'm looking at townhouses and apartments, and maybe I would add one commercial office. Now, the commercial office, the issue with commercial offices in Dubai is that there is very less choice. In fact, we need good, I wouldn't even say A grade, but because most offices in Dubai, they're not really at international standards. They're very good, but they're not sometimes at international standards. But what I would say is that if I could pick up one office, I would pick up one office as well, right? But let's go back to residential. So I would split it up between townhouses and residential apartments, okay? Now, I would go into the up and coming areas when I'm saying townhouses. Why? Because I want things to grow at a steady pace, a long-term pace, okay? And in this area, I might pick up something of a ready nature, especially if I'm saying townhouse. I might avoid going into the off-plan market. The reason is, generally speaking, townhouses the prices are slightly higher at the moment. There has been appreciation come in, so the prices are slightly higher. We know this, everybody knows this, the market knows this, okay? When I go into the apartment areas, I would personally, because if I don't want to live there, I would personally avoid prime, absolutely prime. So I would avoid downtown business bay unless there's a deal coming up. I would look at central areas like Dubai Creek Harbor and residential areas like JVC, Jumeirah Village Triangle, and Jumeirah Village Circle. If I was to look at Jumeirah Village Circle, Jumeirah Village Triangle, it isn't all developers I would pick up from. I would pick up from very unique developers that I know are delivering very, very good quality and are delivering on time, because I know that the capital appreciation over here is going to go up. Lastly, if I was picking up apartments, I would concentrate on the 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms. I would avoid the 1 bedrooms. Finally, if I had somebody from my family involved in this $10 million, I know that they might suggest, hey, can we pick up something in a prime area like downtown or Business Bay as well? And I would pick up maybe 1 apartment in downtown or Business Bay, possibly, potentially, because downtown Business Bay, they're good for Airbnb. It's a very touristic area. Okay, so just a quick recap. I would stick to a residential and maybe 1 commercial. Inside residential, I would split it up between townhouses and apartments. I would choose central areas like Creek Harbor or Mohammed bin Rashid City, and residential areas. I would only add a prime area such as downtown or Dubai Marina or Palm Jumeirah if I really had to appease any of my family partners who were with me in that investment. On the townhouse side, I would look at ready townhouses if I can, because the off-plan launches, generally speaking, not all of them, generally speaking, have been priced higher, generally speaking, okay? So I would like to, if I had the $10 million cash, I would like to pick up a little bit of a deal, because even in there, it's not so easy to pick up a real deal, okay? It's a little bit of a challenge, okay? But if I did off-plan, I would do off-plan. It's okay with townhouse as well. Just, I've got to have a view to holding for 5 to 10 years. That's what I would do. If I buy 1 property, so Chakraborty Abhishek says, so Asin Abdullah Bhai, I hope I was able to answer your question. Somebody asks over here. Ahmed Kazia, I'm looking at your question. Look, I'll come back to your question, Ahmed. You're asking me a good question. Chakraborty asks, if I buy 1 property which is not fully paid, how can I use that property to buy another property and thus keep going on? If you buy 1 property that's not fully paid, technically speaking, how can you use that? Well, use the rental income, collect it for 3-4 years, and then use that payment as a down payment on the next property. That's one. Or if it's mortgage, then of course, if it's not fully paid, because even if it's not fully paid, rental income, you're going to collect 100%. If the property is not fully paid, but you're getting, like you take some Islamic mortgage from the bank, then again, you've got equity that's come out. I think the equity release situation is not on at the moment in Dubai. You can't do that, right? So collect the money, go, and you can get some more, or speak to a very good mortgage consultant. Somebody asks, can I use the appreciation value? Yes, you can, I think, but they're not. I think banks are not releasing equity at the moment. You've got to get in touch with my team. There's a form that you can fill up. They can put you in touch with a good mortgage consultant, because I don't have all the mortgage answers and what the banks are currently doing at the moment today. You are better off speaking to a professional on that, on the mortgage area, right? Ahmed Kazia, what do you think about Farm Grove by Emaar? Look, Emaar is one of the top developers in Dubai, right? Or the Middle East. They're doing really amazing stuff all over the world. They're really good over here. So when you ask me a question about what do you think about a project that Emaar is releasing, like it's obviously it's a given yes in general. Is it right for you? Do you have the right income to support the payments? Do you have the money? If you're looking to flip it by buying it and selling it in like less than 2 years, I would say buyer beware, be careful. Don't do it if you're getting promises from brokers that, we'll just flip it for 40% profit in a couple of years, 2 years, 3 years. You got to be careful on whether you should do it or not. You've got to be really paying attention to this, okay? Guys, look, I love the fact that you were here today. I love the fact that you wanted to join the live. I want to know if you were here to learn or you were just curious about understanding the market. Thank you very much for everybody who's joined in, sent questions. It's really my pleasure, alhamdulillah, if I'm able to help you, okay? So Ahmed, I hope I was able to answer your question as well. You've got to really see if it's the right fit for your portfolio, and if it will be a helpful addition to your portfolio. Otherwise, when you ask me, like, it's kind of like you ask me, like, what do you think of this car from BMW? And then I say, look, it's a basic yes, because BMW is a good brand. They've been doing cars for decades and decades and decades. And then if you look at specifics and you say, look, no, I was looking for a fast car that can compete with the Porsches on the road, then I'm going to say, look, you've got to look at more things. Or if you're saying I'm looking at the X7, which is I think a 7-seater, and I want to compare that to the newer cars that are coming out, then I'm going to say, look, let's look at things a little bit more careful. So you've got to look at things in that view and in that purview. Okay. Thank you very much for everybody who's joined in. I will see you soon, inshallah, next time. Generally, our live is on Fridays, but this time it was on Saturday. Happy. For those who are going to be going on holidays, have a great holiday. See you very, very soon, inshallah. All right. Take care. Allah Hafiz.
You both might have a different viewpoint. Our job is going to be to bring you both in a way together to make the best investment decisions.
You know, sometimes the time is right when the time is right. He is somebody I met in 2017. He always wanted to start with an investment in the Dubai market. And 2024 is what it was for him. He, along with another friend of his, wanted to really take a look at the Dubai market again and really start investing. So what we ended up doing is have them sign up on the Dubai Wealth Builder program. And it's a little bit of a challenge trying to get two friends who might think alike, can also think differently sometimes. Him and both of his friends were then escorted along into a strategy session. We then went on to help them virtually select properties, qualify based on the criteria that we established. One of them then visited Dubai, who went physically to see the properties, the different showrooms, and get a feel of the areas and the locations so that we could then make better decisions. The process took about maybe a month to 2 months, but the good thing is they win by getting the best property. Dubai wins by getting a great customer, great client. We win because we get to service them, and the real estate market in Dubai wins overall.